All right, so tell us about the advice that you got from this dating coach.
Yeah, so I talked to Nellie, who's the #1 matchmaker for high-value singles. She came on my podcast this week. And you know what? I thought we were going to have beef this week because something very strange happened when I posted the episode on Tuesday. I was like, why did I get a copyright infringement from Spotify after posting this episode where all we talked about was parties and stuff? And I'm thinking, did somebody from her camp, because we posted the same episode, did somebody from her camp report me and call this in as a copyright infringement? So I'm sitting on it for like a day. I'm like, what could have happened? So I go into my, I go behind the scenes to check out what happened with the episode.
Yeah.
I had to edit our episode differently because we did video, and I never do video because mostly people come on my podcast anonymously. And I had to export it through a different program so that when I exported it, I just I had just uploaded music instead of our entire episode. And I was like, so it's on me. It's my fault. So finally the episode got posted yesterday where we talked about how to approach somebody at a party. And it was specifically for Halloween parties. We talked about manifestation. And it's in the 3 years of doing this podcast, that is the one topic we've never covered, is like how to manifest someone into your life. And also just kind of like getting personal advice from my own dating experience. And I told her that I was going to this Halloween party, and I have this feeling that sometimes I don't know if it's just on me where I feel desperate, or I don't know if I come off desperate, but you guys have seen me in the wild. Like, I'm very comfortable with approaching a group of guys. If I see somebody that I think is cute at a bar, like, I'm going to go up to them. So I asked her, kind of hoping that she would give me like some manifestation tips on how to manifest someone to approach me. I was like, how do I approach someone, or how do I get them to approach me without looking desperate? And she gave me a couple of tips. And the first thing she said was, if you're going to a Halloween party or any kind of themed holiday party, period, you already kind of have your built-in pickup line. Like, you don't have to think about anything crazy, super creative. All you have to do is approach them and make some kind of comment about their costume. Or maybe if it's an ugly Christmas sweater party, you make some joke about their ugly Christmas sweater. So for me, when I was at a Halloween party last week, I think I approached a guy who looked like a Jedi or something. And I knew he was a Jedi. But I came up and I was like, oh, this is a really interesting trash bag costume you've got on. And these Star Wars nerds want to defend what they're wearing and immediately want to start talking to you. And there and beholds a conversation. Another tip that she gave me was that if you don't want to make some kind of comment about like their costume, or if you're just going to like an office party where there's really no theme or anything you have to dress up for, literally just go up to somebody and like clink their glass and just say cheers. It just makes you look friendly. It makes you look inviting, and it makes you look like that. It makes you look like you're willing to socialize with people, which I think is a very attractive trait. It doesn't come off desperate. It just comes off as friendly. Something else that she mentioned was just like making a note to approach a certain amount of people. She's like, sometimes we just have to have goals in our head. If we're going to a party and we know we want to meet new people or have guys approach us, just make a list in your head that my one goal isn't to get a date out of this, isn't to get a boyfriend out of this. It's just to talk to 3 new people, which I think is a very like low bar you can set for yourself, so that you can leave the party feeling like you accomplished something. So overall, it was a very enlightening episode on how to have that confidence without looking desperate.
So I love her advice 90% of the time. Her podcast, and she's on the Pioneer, my podcast network. So when you're saying that, did her camp hit my camp up? We're all in the same camp.
Oh, yeah, we're on the same camp. Well, right. I mean, yeah. I was like, maybe somebody was like upset that I had posted it the same day she had posted it. I was like, me and this girl are going to have words.
Here's what I love about her take, and again, it is high value dating, is that she's a really big fan of giving guys like just a sign, and then the guy's responsibility is to run with it, and you do not continually chase the guy. It goes back to that old saying, like, men are hunters, let them hunt and know your value and let them come after you rather than you aggressively go after them.
So where's the 10% that you don't like? I was thinking the same thing.
You know what? I'm just not a real big fan of this whole feminine and masculine energy thing, and she really is. And I've had bad experiences with that in the past, so it rubs me the wrong way. But most of the time, I'm like, yes, she is really giving great advice.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to what she says, and I'm a big fan of her podcast because she is so like direct and she doesn't really beat around the bush. But I think people can weaponize the whole masculine and feminine thing. I think women specifically can use the whole feminine argument to just just be lazy. Like, I'm a girl, so he should just do this. Whereas I feel like there's a lot of truth to like the polarity when it comes to heterosexual relationships, but it's not an excuse to like, you know, be a toxic man or be a lazy lady.
She pretty much says like, know your worth. You're a queen, know your worth, let them chase you. It's really, really great.
Yeah, it's really good. And so I posted our episode yesterday finally, because when I finally exported it the correct way. You can check out my podcast, The Breakup Breakdown, on the Pioneer Network. Same camp as High Value Dating.
The Bert Show.